to another video. So today, as you know from the title, we will be discussing the unfortunate case of Miya Marcano. Okay, so y'all, ever since this happened, and I seen it, I think it was on the Shade Room on Instagram, like stuff like this that happens to, like, you know, young females always just like stick with me. Even with the whole like Kanika situation, y'all, that hunted me, and I was like 15 when that happened. But like, it was just like, you know, it just gives you like this like weird type of like energy, like, you know, that stuff like this actually happens, you know. So anyway, for those of you that don't know, the situation happened on September 24th of 2021. So a little background is that Miya Marcano was a 19-year-old female that she lived in Orlando, Florida, and went to a college there, I believe, and she lived in the Arden Villa apartment complex where she worked and lived. And in this apartment complex, there was also a maintenance man by the name of Armando Calabero. Y'all don't even know if I'm saying it right. And I didn't watch the news articles. Armando Caballero. So anyway, according to the full release detailed police report, they both had got hired as like, I guess when the season, like certain seasons, they need extra help. So Miya and the guy, they both got hired around the same time for that extra help or whatever. So according to her friends and family members, this guy had taken a very like high interest and liking in her, which according to her friends and family, she wasn't really feeling it at first, whatever, but it became kind of like weird and obsessive in a way, like, you know, just too much, you know, to make her want to, like, you know, okay, I'm really not gonna, you know, entertain this. So anyway, I do have the full police report in front of me that I will also be reading off of. Y'all, and I tell y'all, it's detailed. It has like everybody's information on it. It has from their driver's license number to the apartment complex. It even contains some pictures, but some of the photos are redacted, which I believe are like her, when they actually found her body, they have that covered. I can't see that. And then they don't have pictures of him, because yeah, they don't have pictures of him in here, but they do have a picture of his hand, because they were trying to show how like it's a medical term that I can't think of, but like when you like hang yourself, or like you're like choking, like, you know, blood comes out your mouth, your eyes, and like it clots like at your fingertips. Anyway, so according to the police investigation, they were going to charge him with burglary, as they were just going to charge him with that to get him off the streets, and then they're going to do more in-depth investigating and gather more evidence for the actual like homicide, because, you know, he was the person of interest. So anyway, I'm going to read off of this police report. I will leave a link to this police report that you can download in the description box, as well as like the foundations that her family has created in her memory that you could donate to if you want. So on September 24th of 2021, approximately 9:23, the Orange County Police Office received a call from Miya's mom, which is Emma, and that was just to do like a welfare check on her daughter, because according to them, it's not normal for Miya to not keep in contact with any of her family members for a long period of time. You know, she's always talking to somebody in the immediate family, whether it's her dad, her brother, her mom, grandma, and, you know. So they knew that she was, on this particular day, on this Friday, she was supposed to be leaving to go to Fort Lauderdale with her dad and extended family. And so they knew she got off work at 5. So they were texting her. I believe her flight was supposed to leave at like 8 or 9. It's probably in the police report later down the line. She's supposed to catch a flight between 7:30 and 8 o'clock that evening. She's supposed to get on a flight to go to Fort Lauderdale to see her dad. So anyway, they know she got off work at 5 o'clock p.m. So she was still texting them. Like, I think she was texting her friend like a little bit after she got out of work at like 5:02, whatever. It takes her a very short amount of time to walk from the leasing office or whatever where she worked to her actual apartment complex. And I'll also insert the surveillance footage that they have of that they have finally released in this video. So actually I'll insert it now. So here's the footage of her walking from her office to her apartment, and this is like the last actual video footage of her seen alive. So anyway, so she was still texting her friends, whatever, around that time. And then right at like 5:06, no one could like get a hold of her. Like texts weren't answered, Snapchat wasn't opened. Apparently her cousin had sent her a Snapchat around that time because they were excited about seeing each other, and she didn't open that, which is unusual. So anyway, so once, you know, her brother, cousin, and her family realized that they couldn't get a hold of her, they her brother called her mom, and then her mom was like, you know, what do you mean you can't get a hold of her? Like, da 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 da. She obviously knew something was wrong because this is unlike her daughter. And I'll also insert the link to, if you have like any type of TV app with the investigation discovery app, the show On the Case with Paula Zahn. They did an episode on Miya, which is season 22, episode 1, I think. I will link that in the description box as well if you want to watch that. And it has her mom on there, her cousin that she was talking to, and then her brother. Apparently, according to some online research and documents, her dad did not want to be a part of it, which is understanding because, you know, you're reliving, like, you know, this moment. So anyway, after her mom found out like they couldn't get a hold of her daughter, she was like, all right, she called the police. And this is where the police report starts, is when her mom called the police to do a welfare check on her daughter because they couldn't get in contact with her. Like, no one is hearing from her. Like, what's going on? The police report reads as follows. On September 24th of 2021 at 21:23 hours, which is 9:23 p.m., the Orange County Sheriff's Office received a non-emergency call from Miya Marcano, I don't know if I'm saying that right, regarding a check on well-being request for her 19-year-old daughter, Miya Marcano. So she gave them her address, which was the 3249 Arden Villas Boulevard. Apparently she lived in apartment number 16 in Orlando, Florida. So they also included her phone number in here because her mom gave them her phone number to try to get in contact with her as well. And it said that she had a roommate, which they in this police report, it contains the interviews of the brother, the roommate, the co-workers, friends of the guy, Armando, all of that. So we will get to that later on. So like I said, according to her mom, Miya was supposed to board a flight later that evening from Orlando to Fort Lauderdale. The last time anyone had talked to her, apparently she was waiting for an Uber to come pick her up from her apartment around 5 o'clock, which was shortly after she got off work. So like I said, they were trying to call her, text her, and then the texts weren't showing that they were delivered. And she had an iPhone. I think all of her family members had an iPhone too. So you know, on iPhone, that when you try to send a text and it doesn't pop up delivered, that means the phone is off or there's no service where that person is. So apparently the texts weren't delivering, so obviously telltale sign, her phone's probably off. So according to her cousin, I forgot her cousin's name, but it's in this police document later on. But anyway, according to her cousin had they shared locations. So her cousin had tried to check her location and it popped up no location found. So again, telltale sign of if you look for someone's location, it says no location found, phone is 9 times out of 10 turned off. So at this point, it's very obvious, very blatant that something is wrong, something's foul. She's probably in trouble. So anyway, so according to Mia's mom, a friend had stopped by the apartment to see if she was there. Maybe like, yeah, her phone was just dead and maybe she wasn't receiving the text, but apparently when she went to go knock on the door, nobody answered. So after Mia's mom talked to the detective, they left off on the terms that they would go to the apartment to see what was going on. So now we're getting into the initial response of the deputy that was in charge of this case. So according to the police report, the detective arrived at her apartment and knocked on the door 3 times. After he knocked on the door for 3 times, he didn't receive a response. So he used the number that was given to him for Mia's cell phone number. So he called that phone number just to see if maybe he could get an answer. No answer. So at this point in time, he's updating with Ema, which is Mia's mom, updating with Ema that he's at the apartment, no one answered. He's called her phone, no one's answered. So Ema, Mia's mom, was able to get in contact with her roommate, which we'll read about later into the report, to allow the deputy, maybe she can go home, allow the deputy inside the house so they can look around. I'm sorry, they actually have her roommate's name redacted in this police report, so I actually don't know the roommate's name. Apparently she probably didn't want to, you know, have her name out there like that. So when the roommate arrived, she was questioned about Mia. Just, you know, like, have you noticed anything recent about her? Like, you know, like anything that might be going on? Her roommate said no, you know, nothing was out of the ordinary. Like everything was normal as far as she knew with Mia. And then she did state that she knew that Mia was supposed to fly out that evening to go to Fort Lauderdale to spend time with her father and extended family members. And then she also stated the last time she had spoke to Mia was earlier in that day. So at this point, the roommate had allowed them to the apartment with her key fob. And so her and the deputy went to Mia's bedroom door, but the bedroom door was locked. So he asks, like, hey, like, you know, is this out of the norm for her to have her bedroom locked? To which the roommate replied, no, usually she locks her own bedroom door, you know, which is typical because if you're roommates with someone, you know, you want to prevent somebody from going through your stuff or you're not there, you lock your door, okay? So her roommate stated that this was not out of the normal for her to lock her door when she wasn't home. So, you know, at this point, they're still thinking, you know, nothing's, you know, weird right now. Like, everything is still normal, you know. So, in the police report, according to the police report, it says that when the deputy had arrived, he did go around to her bedroom window to try to look through the window to see if anything was out of the, you know, normal, out of the ordinary. And according to him, he didn't see anything. But they did document that he noticed that her bedroom window was closed but unlocked and able to be pushed all the way open. Okay, so note that. The deputy did open the window so he can kind of get a better look inside, and apparently that portion was filmed on his body camera. And he used a flashlight to look inside, whatever, because of course the light was off. So he was looking into her room from the outside, which, again, he said that there appeared to be nothing out of the ordinary. And he said that the window did not appear to be damaged or tampered with. So also keep in mind of that, because as you already know, everything will come into play that will make sense later on. That's kind of like, you know. So after he pushed the window in, looked inside to see if anything was out of the ordinary, he was like, okay, well, nothing looks weird. So he went back to the front of the apartment with the roommate and notified her, like, hey, like, I checked the bedroom window. I looked through the room through the bedroom window. Nothing appeared to be out of the ordinary, like, you know. So at this point, the roommate asks the deputy, hey, do you remember seeing a teddy bear on the bed? Which, according to the roommate, was a very personal item of Mia's that she didn't go anywhere without, you know. The deputy did not recall if he seen a teddy bear on the bed when he went to the window, so he went back to the bedroom window with the roommate. When they went back to the window, apparently the roommate was on the phone with one of Mia's family members. At this point, when the roommate went to the window to look through with the deputy, she immediately observed that her bed was not made, the teddy bear wasn't on the bed, and that the window could be fully opened. So after this, and after she's on the phone with one of Mia's family members, the family member asks, hey, can you go through the window into the bedroom? So at that point, Mia's roommate asked the officer, hey, can I go through the bedroom window to get into the room? The deputy allowed her to go through the bedroom window to get into the apartment, to get into the room. And at this point, I feel like the situation was already mishandled, because this could be a possible crime scene, and you have people, like, you know, entering into the apartment, like touching stuff that could have been used for more evidence, you know. So because it was stated that I think her family was trying to sue the Orlando Police Department for their mishandling of the situation, which we will get more into depth with that later on into the story, because I 1000% agree that they did not do everything that they should have when they could have. So back to the investigation. So yeah, he had helped her get into the go through the window to get into the room. So in the police document, it states that the reason why he let her go into the room was because there was no obvious signs of anything being out of the ordinary in the room. Which still, just in case, they know that that's her bedroom. They know that, like, it's just, I don't know how to put it, but regardless of what they say, like, I don't think anybody should have been inside there until they had crime scene investigators out there to get everything, that they could, any evidence they could, before anybody else went into that room. Because we will see later on in this investigation why that was important for him, regardless if anything looked out of the ordinary or not. That's her room. That could have been the last place that she was physically at. So don't let nobody in there, because evidence. Hello. So anyway, at this point, the roommate is in Mia's bedroom, looking around, and she is going to unlock the bedroom door from the inside so that the deputy can come in and they can look around together. So, as she's actually inside the room, it says that she notices things that are out of the ordinary now. She can, look more closely and see. She says she noticed a variety of things out of the ordinary for Miya. The first obvious piece of evidence was that there was a bookcase, which I would also insert the pictures over here of pictures they took of the actual bedroom and the bookcase that was propped up against the door. So yeah, so there was a bookcase propped up against the door as if, to prevent letting anybody in, like barricaded. Like, another obvious thing was that the roommate had noticed that the window locks that Mia's dad had put on the window was not there anymore, hence them being able to fully open the window. According to her, with the locks, you couldn't even open the window at all. So somebody unscrewed the window locks on that window and was able to get into that bedroom or exit the bedroom. Oh, my mistake. The window lock only allowed the bedroom window to be open 4 to 6 inches, which, if you know your measurements, that's not very much room at all. Maybe just to let a little bit of air in, that's it. The window should not have been able to be fully opened unless Miya herself unscrewed the locks. So, but according to them at this time, it was unknown if she had unscrewed the locks or not. Here are the pictures of the locks on one of the windows that were still intact, and then the one, according to the police report, that was supposed to be on Mia's bedroom. After homegirl unlocked and opened Mia's door, the deputy was able to come in and go through it with her. So at this point, she had pointed out other things that were very out of the ordinary for Miya. She said she noticed that her bed was not made, which is unusual, I guess, if she's going out of town. There were 3 pieces of jewelry on the floor, and one was her broken necklace with her name that she would always wear. Even if you look at any picture of her from pictures online, and videos people have put together, you will always see her wearing her gold necklace that says Miya. So that was on the floor broken. And then she also noticed that her teddy bear was inside the closet on the floor. So, and then the book bag that I guess she was supposed to be taking to Fort Lauderdale with her was next to her desk. And then the last thing out of the place was there was a pillow on her bed that appeared to have a blood stain on it, small patch of blood stain. Mind you, homegirl was still on the phone with one of her Mia's family members at this time. It said an unknown family member, so I'm not sure who it is. I'm thinking it's her mom, because if you watch the Investigation Discovery episode with Paula Zahn, of course her mom is on there, and I think her mom was talking to the roommate at that time, because her mom was in St. Thomas at the time, so she couldn't be there as fast as she wanted to. She was on the Virgin Islands, okay? So yeah, homegirl, the roommate, is still on the phone with one of Mia's family members, and the family member on the phone had asked the roommate, hey, send me a picture of what the room looks like right now so I can see what is out of the ordinary. So I will insert, I'm gonna insert every picture that is in the police report so that you guys can see and get a picture of what everything looked like. Pictures that I'm about to insert in this video are what it looked like prior to before any of her other family members got there, like what the deputy and the roommate originally seen when they went into the room. So first picture is the jewelry that's on the floor of her bedroom. Second picture is what her unmade bed looked like. Third picture is more of her items that are in the room. I don't know what relevancy this has to do with the stuff that they seen that was out of the ordinary, but yeah, this was included in there. And then this one, which is a picture of her teddy bear that they said she doesn't go anywhere without, that's on the floor of the bedroom closet. And then again, here's the picture of the bookcase that was propped against the doorknob to prevent, as if it was to prevent anyone from entering. So at this point, the deputy reported back to Mia's mother, who confirmed that he just told her the findings that they found in the apartment. And Mia's mom was able to confirm that, hey, yes, she never boarded this flight and we didn't see her get off, so something is up. So now we are about to get into the maintenance man, okay, and where he comes into play. Basically, they were able to talk to one of her friends named Samantha, which this is the same girl that they did a TikTok together. There was like 3 of them. I'll actually insert the TikTok in this video. So here you go.
Pink, 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 girls, 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 glitter, 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 swirls, 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 together forever. We're Linda and Heather, best friend.
But that is the friend Samantha. Samantha was the one who let the deputy know, like, hey, off bat, Mia's missing, but I already have a person of interest that y'all need to look into, and it's this maintenance man, which is the Armando guy. According to the police report and what we all read online, long story short, the maintenance man, he showed interest in Miya. She did not feel the same way, so there was some rejection there. So according to Samantha, he just described Armando and Mia's relationship as just friends. And then it includes in the police report that, just to put it out there again, that Miya was an employee in the front office at the Arden Villas Apartments, which is where she lived. Like I said earlier in the beginning of the video, she worked there and also lived there. And then Armando was the maintenance man that worked there as well. So at this point, they have which I don't know how the laws in Florida work, but I know in most other places, like, you can't enter someone as a missing person unless they've been missing for 24 hours. I don't know if laws have changed and if there's enough concern that they entered as missing, but I know it used to be that you had to wait 24 hours, which is stupid because most of the time people would always turn back up within that 24 hours. At this point, they had entered her into the system with a BOLO, which stands for be on the lookout. Yeah, they entered her in the system as a missing person with the BOLO. So it was still unknown when she was last seen and when she disappeared. So after he entered her into the system, he contacted her friends and family again to see if anyone had any updated information on her, just to see if they needed to leave that missing person and BOLO in effect or not. So after this, no one said they had any updated information or heard from her. So after this, he cleared his cloud, which was at 0400 in the morning, on September 25th of 2021. So the day after, a couple hours after she went missing. This next portion of the police report is just about the other security guard that was aware of Miya being a missing person and said that he had went back to the window to collect finger evidence to try to help out the deputies, which is weird that you have a missing person. Like, at this point, according to friends and family, like, this isn't, who would know her? It's not normal for her to have the necklace she wears all the time on the floor of her bedroom broken. Like I said, her bed was unmade, and her teddy bear that she goes nowhere without, like even to work. They said sometimes she would bring her teddy bear to work. All these things that you already know are out of the ordinary gives you the conclusion already that, hey, maybe something happened in the freaking room. Who knows? Because why is a bookcase a small dresser propped up against the door anyway? Like, at that point, I feel like whether, like, I'm sorry, like, it just was mishandled from the beginning to the end, which, you know, is really messed up because, like, I don't know, just common sense would tell you, like, hey, 9 times out of 10, we got a crime scene here, so let's close it off and do what we have to do to figure out, you know, to try to help bring this girl home. So already right there, the case is mishandled, okay? I'm no homicide detective, but I'm just saying, like, if it was me, this would have went way different. I'm sorry. So with the on-duty Arden Villas apartment complex security manager told them that, hey, I tried to lift fingerprints off the, like, again, why is somebody that's not, you know, an actual detective doing stuff that y'all should be doing? Like, come on, Orlando. Come on. You guys are dropping the ball here. Why is this dude, why did he have, you know, enough common sense to say, hey, let me see if I can go get fingerprints for them to try to help them out? And y'all should have originally did that in the beginning. Like, hello, make it make sense. So that initiated a second response by the lead deputy of this case when I guess to go get the fingerprints from the security guard at the apartment complex. So there's not too much to know about that. The third response in this police report that I'm about to go into really will blow your mind as to why this Orlando Police Department did not do more than what they did. Like, really. So I want y'all to pay attention to this part right here. But this is the third response that the deputy did to the Arden Villas apartment complex in reference of Miya missing. On September 25th at 3:52 in the morning, this is when he got a third call from Mia's father, Marlon, and this is when I'm guessing more of her family members had showed up. There's a video that I'll be inserting that goes with this clip, that goes with this information as well. So mind you, also, the deputy had just fully cleared his response to Arden Villas at 04 in the morning. So 4 o'clock in the morning. So that's why I say this is the third response, that he came back that same day, or right after he cleared the first call at 04:30, when her dad had called, you know, to let them know, like, I want y'all to further investigate this because I even observed things that are out of the order. So her dad, and that's why I said this was this third response is when her family members were outside of her apartment complex. This includes her dad, her aunt, her cousin that we will talk about later on, that's also on the investigation discovery show that they did about this case. So this was when, like, you know, a dozen of her family members had drove down and they're now on scene at the Arden Villas apartment, okay? So at 0:54, the deputy had activated his body cam footage, which I wish they would have allowed us to see that and included it in the police report, but they didn't. But it's fine because there's enough information in here for you to put a picture together in your head and, you know, play it like a movie of what happened. And I also have the video clip that I'll insert in just a few moments. So after the deputy arrived back on scene, he made contact with Marlon, which is Mia's dad, and then other family members that were there and on scene. So the family had took the deputy back into Mia's apartment and pointed out that they found a yellow box cutter underneath the blue rug that was in her room, which was next to the bed. So they looked at the box cutter and there was no obvious, like, signs of any blood on the box cutter, whatever. But the family was like, you know, this isn't Mia's, so whose box cutter is this and why is it in here? You know, that's like the fifth thing that they had found that is out of the ordinary in this girl's bedroom. And, like, you know, her family's still walking around in there, like, they mess around with stuff already. Like, most of the evidence you could have got is already gone. Like, you know, it's so stupid. And that's why I said they dropped the ball from the beginning of the case to the end, which, you know, things could have played out different if they would have did what they were supposed to do. And, you know, I'm sure everybody has I know they have policies and stuff that they're supposed to follow by. I do not think it was followed in this case because, yeah. Another thing that the family had pointed out in the bedroom was that her bedpost had been moved slightly over. Because you know how if your bed is in one position for a while and it's moved, you can see indentions in the carpet of where it was previously placed at. So according to family members, they had to observe this as well. According to the evidence pictures that they do have in this police report, her bed wasn't by the window. So I'm not sure if, because I was going to say maybe it was moved for whoever to exit out the window. Like, you know how sometimes people put their bed in front of the window, but her bed didn't look like it was in front of the window. Or because that in the police report, those pictures was after everything happened. Maybe originally it was in front of the window. I'm not sure. There's a lot of questions here that are still unanswered. But anyway, her family did point out that, yeah, the bed had been moved. You know, this is not normal, like, you know. So, like I said, there's a video that I was going to insert that many of you have already seen. But just take note of this video and look for anything that you think may be like sus. Okay?
But no one knows Tati.
You
You keep mentioning Tati, and no one knows Tati.
And you get a call,
The
all of a
roommates
sudden,
don't even know Tati.
You've been sleeping since
You
10
keep
o'clock,
saying
and all of a
Tati is
sudden
a
you're showing
friend.
up here at 4 o'clock in the morning looking for me.
Tati were conversating about it, so I finally, it came
Okay,
up.
but
Should
Tati
I go and
is
see
someone-
if I see anything?
No one knows Tati. That's my whole thing. Not
Tati
even the
is
roommate
an
knows
employee
Tati.
here. You
She's an
can-
employee, but you keep saying Tati is a friend and that you've all hung out together. No one here knows Tati. All her
Well,
other
not
friends
all
showed up. Her
these
closest
people.
friends that live in the complex were all here with us early on. No one knows Tati. Only you. Whoever Tati is, and Tati's on the phone, she shouldn't even be on the phone right now. As of right now, you have
work
sent
tomorrow- you work
obsessive
tomorrow,
texts to
Tati?
Miya. We have all seen the text. You talked about giving her your life savings. You cash out her money, and you claim that you weren't in touch.
Who told her gave
It's
her
on
life
text.
savings? I never
As a
said
matter of
that.
fact, we're going to get a police report to pull your phone records if that's the case.
What you have to do?
There's evidence of obsession, of something. You're fascinated with
It's
me.
not only from my side, so don't try to make this
No one,
like I'm a
no one's
stalker.
saying that. It takes
She's
two.
not here to defend
There's-
herself right now, so
obviously
we gotta
she's
talk to
missing.
you.
So we're talking to
And
you,
I
who've been going
completely
back and
respect
forth
that. I
on
understand
text.
that. That is your family.
Right.
But until we figure out what's going on, just don't beat me up.
Nobody
one's
ain't beating
beating
you
If
you
up.
I'm guilty, why
But you
would I
put
come
yourself in the middle right here. You brought yourself over here.
Because we're concerned.
You're concerned. Why weren't you concerned hours ago?
I just found out.
All right, cool, no problem.
So
In
how
the
did, Ta-
first
so
few
how did
hours,
Tati find out?
We didn't think it was serious. I don't even know how Tati found out. She
Somebody's
told me
missing and you don't think it's serious.
Someone
Maybe they
that
hanging out. They got this place right here. They go downtown. I don't know. Maybe her phone's off. I don't know what she.
She would use somebody's phone and call her dad or her grandmother, somebody.
she was supposed to show up for a flight and didn't show up.
Not calling the phone. And I didn't tell you.
I can come back tomorrow. You can come tomorrow.
Officer, can I ask you a question?
According to the police report, the security officer on scene told the deputy and informed him that there was a driver in a silver Ford Focus that the family was questioning. That's when the security officer identified the driver of the silver Ford Focus as Armando Caballero, which is the maintenance man that worked at the apartment complex. Mind you, it's still 4 o'clock in the morning. All her family is down here on scene that was able to drive down from Fort Lauderdale. And you have this man in a car that's like, y'all looking for Miya? Hey, who are you? How do you know she's missing? Why are you here at 4 in the morning? Boom. Just gonna put that out there. So the deputy went outside to approach the driver, the maintenance man, and identified him as Armando as well. So he told him to step out the vehicle, which he complied and exited the vehicle. So that's when the deputy asked him, hey, do you know what's going on? That's when Armando stated that he was currently on the phone with a coworker, Tatiana Shanks, to put her name out there, who informed him that Miya was missing. And apparently that was his reasoning for being at the complex, to help the family with her missing, to help. Yeah. So I just want to say, like, right there, I think it's weird because prior to when this was all going on, I was on YouTube, I was everywhere looking at stuff that was related to this case, and there was this girl, I don't really get too deep into like mediums and stuff like that, but there's this woman who claims to be able to speak to people that have transitioned into the afterlife. Or she did like a reading, my bad, not a medium. She did a reading on Miya. And anyway, in her reading, she stated that the police needed to look more deeply into the girl Tati. As I was reading this police report that came out months after I seen that video, you know, it is weird to me that, mind you, Tati and Miya both worked in the front office. They were, you know, co-workers. I'm assuming, you know, they were pretty cool with each other. Because there's also an interview that we will get to later on into the police report that when they interviewed the girl Tatiana Shanks, the co-worker. And she knew about the situation with Armando and Miya. She knew that this was somebody that was apparently, like, you know, a little obsessed with Miya. So like, it's kind of weird to me that you called him to ask him, hi, hey, like, do you know, like, what's going on with Miya? Like, she's missing, whatever, da 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 da. That's a little weird to me, because if you, like, just like the girl, one of her friends, Samantha, gave police, you know, y'all need to look into this person off rip. Like, I don't know, it's just weird to me. Like, is that weird to you? Comment below and let me know. Is that weird? Because it's a little weird to me. Like, you know the situation between them. Like, most likely, like, you know he had something to do with it. So I'm not going to be calling him to let him know that, hey, people know that she's missing, da 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 da. You act like he was going to tell you, yeah, it's because, you know, da 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 da. No. You just gave him information. And now, this man, who you guys, okay, if you read the police reports, you already know this man is the man that 9 times out of 10, there's a 1% chance that he didn't do it, but 99% it's been concluded that he is responsible. He is. So, you mean to tell me that you calling this man to let him know, like, you know, her family's down here, you know, they know she's missing, like, do you know what's going on? Like, you're giving him that, I don't even know how to describe it, but if you get it, you get it. Like, you basically, like, you know, letting him know, like, how quickly he needs to move now, like, what he needs to do. Because at this point, if he wanted to, he could have fled the country, like most killers do. Fled the country, just went into hiding if he really wanted to. You know? I feel like when, how do I explain it? When it is brought out that, like, somebody's missing and you're talking to the killer, even if you don't know it yet, but this is a person of interest off bat, don't tell them nothing. Let them find out whatever they're gonna find out through the news. Because at this point, like, nothing was released. You know, this is like the initial and beginning of the story. Nothing was released. Nobody knew nothing except for her family, you know. But he does work there, so I'm not gonna say too much. He does work there, so regardless if the girl Tati told him or not, he would have found out through probably other people anyway. Maybe people that were unaware of the situation. But I'm just saying, she knew the situation between them, because, just stay tuned. We will read into the interview will read into the interview of what she told investigators. I'm also gonna link the video to the reading that I watched of the lady that and what she said about Tati, so you guys can watch that as well. All this will be in the description box below. So at this point, you know, the deputy's asking him, hey, do you know what's going on? Like, you know what's up, why you here? Do you know what's going on? So that's when, like I said, he responded that, hey, yeah, I'm on the phone with the coworker. She told me that, you know, Mia's missing, so I'm just here to help, da 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 da. And then he said he's still talking to the detective, and he told the detective he indicated that him and Mia were just friends. Just friends. That's what he told the detective. He understood the accusations that the family was making against him regarding him and Mia's past interactions, and regarding his past interest in Mia. So he described him and Mia's initial interactions when they first met as flirtatious and nothing more than that. Boom. His words. Nothing more developed past that. So he did say that he had seen her earlier that day working in the clubhouse at 1500, which is 3:00 p.m. So I will add that prior to him confronting her family confronting him, whenever the cousin, I can't think about her name, but I know it's later in the report, you guys know who I'm talking about. And like I said, it's important, like if you're interested, it's important to watch the episode that I told you on the case what Paula Zahn did on this case, because you will see her cousin, she talks about something that's not in the police report, and that's that whenever they had got to Orlando prior to her family confronting Armando, when the cousin was in the bedroom, the way Mia's bedroom was set up, there was like a parking lot behind her apartment that you could see through the window. According to her cousin, she happened to look out the window and see a man in a silver Ford Focus, like watching them through the window. And when they made eye contact, he put his car in reverse, did a three-point turn. She said that he actually hit another car that was behind him, but he did a three-point turn and left. And that's when the family confronted him, when they seen him. So just wanted to throw that out there, because how weird is that? Why are you looking at me through a bedroom window watching us go through this stuff, you know? Like that is weird. Like, you already like just know this man is like up to something, or he had something to do with this, period. That's just common sense would tell you that's what's going on here. Anyway, back to the police report. So after this is why I say like the Orlando Police Department needs to be reformed, because they just did so much, like they mishandled this case 1000%. So as you've seen in the clip, the officer let him go. He let him go. He let him get in his car and drive away. After, okay, granted, certain things you cannot just arrest somebody from. You can't just arrest somebody off of a suspicion. I am aware of that. Whatever. But I don't know, I would have had somebody keeping a close eye on him, or somebody following him, just, you know, watching his moves. Because if you have the family members and friends placing this man and painting him and putting him in this position that he possibly has something to do with this, they know what they're talking about. You know, it was, you know, told to them from Mia herself, like, this man is kind of crazy and obsessive, like, you know. So I just feel like at that point, like, what, like, why would you not try to, like, you know, take advantage of that? Why would you not try to take advantage of that? And, you know, like, that's a missed opportunity to me. Like, where there's a will, there's a way. They could have did something to take that man in. Granted, I know that's where the burglary comes in at, that they were trying to, you know, use that to get him off the streets once they got that approved. But as we know, at that time it was too late. But we'll get to that later on. Back to the investigation. So after this, you know, like I said, he let Armando leave. So I guess I don't know exactly, this is part is a little confusing, because There's also a clipped out insert related to what I'm about to tell you guys or read off the police report, but I'm not sure if, so I don't know if this was, like I said, the next day or what, but I'm gonna insert this clip real quick. So watch this.
The passenger side. Hold on. We watching him.
He's still in.
Kaylee, take that out.
How the fuck did that happen?
My stomach.
Am I on you, Joy? How the fuck did that happen? What is he doing? What is he taking out?
He's taking out. He has gloves.
He has gloves.
He has gloves
He has
in his
gloves.
hands.
He has gloves.
Gloves and what else?
The
Oh my
blanket.
god, that is my blanket.
As you've seen from that video, I believe that was the cousin, the grandma, and somebody else. I think of the auntie. But they had followed him, and that's when they observed, just so happened, good timing. It was meant. God allowed them to see that when they, got there. But that's when they observed him pulling out the blanket, which they confirmed was hers, gloves, and some other stuff. They presented this video to the police, and the police still did not do anything. I'm sorry, that's enough probable cause to take somebody in and arrest them. Come on, this man has already put himself at the scene. What's I say? I'm just here, but if you know, you know. It's very frustrating at the same time that they dropped the ball in this case so many times. Really. Back to the incident of the family approaching him at the apartments and the police talking to him. So while he was talking to him, he was on the phone with the girl Tatiana, which was the co-worker. So the deputy proceeded to ask Tatiana, hey, so when was the last time that you seen Miya? And what's up with that? So that's when Armando put her on the speaker and let her and the deputy talk through the phone. So she had said that she worked with Miya that day until 1600, which is 5 o'clock p.m., which is when Tatiana got off work and Miya got off work. No, that's when, so 5 o'clock is when Tati got off work and Miya left shortly after her. So she said that Miya was still working when she had left at 5 o'clock. So at 5:06, Miya had texted her, which I believe that's the pictures they put in the TV show, the one that they did with Paula Zahn, and you can see that Miya had texted, I'm guessing Tati, that was at 15 or 17:06, so that was at 5:06 p.m. And then Tati said she responded to her at 5:11 p.m. but never received a response back from Miya after that. And she said that was odd and unlike her. So after getting off the phone with Tati, Armando gave the deputy his address, the 35 San Jose Circle in Winter Park, Florida. I don't know if that's his actual address or his mom's address. They did include Armando's mom's address in here as well, but I think that is the apartment that he shared with a roommate as well. So get this. So when the deputy asked him, why are you here? He said, are you listening? Are you listening? So he said, Tati, the coworker, asked him to stop by to see if anything was going on suspicious or concerning. Now, I don't care what you say. This girl is already giving me weird type of energy, okay? You caught the man that you knew was being weird toward this girl, obsessive, just weird, okay? Doing the most. Then you called him to tell him, hey, you should go there and see if anything's going on or suspicious. I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of hidden things that we don't really know, full on stuff that we don't know. So yeah, I'm just gonna put that out there. Food for thought. So anyway, As the deputy was questioning Armando, that's when the aunt that was there started questioning him and accusing him of sending the obsessive text to Miya that we will see later on. On September 25th, at approximately 11:31 a.m., an unknown, it's redacted in the report, so I don't know who it was, but an unknown individual called the Orange County Department, and she was like, yeah, we have evidence that, you know, Armando has had some involvement in her disappearance, which is the video they captured on the phone. So at 11:42 is when a deputy from the Orange County Sheriff's Department, which is not the original deputy that responded to the case, Deputy Paulino, this is a different one named Deputy Thomas. So once he arrived to the scene of where the family members was at Armando's apartment when they captured the cell phone video footage, he, upon his arrival, he met up with Mia's dad, Marlon, who explained everything from the events from that night leading up to that morning, and then being on scene at Armando's apartment. So that is where Mia's dad stated that her and Armando had an on and off thing that had not developed into anything further. So at this point we can kind of conclude that they did have something going on, but which we'll read further about in the report, but they did have something, you know, going on, some type of like fling or thing, which is why I think he said in the beginning, like on the video footage, like, oh, it's not just me, like da 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 da. So her dad did tell police that, hey, this man did conduct a maintenance order in her apartment earlier that week, I guess apparently to fix a water leak because her bedroom had flooded and whatnot. And then he said that her dad, Mia's dad Marlon, stated that Armando had tried to send her money the week prior and she refused the money, and his further advances to date her. So it said that he had allegedly sent flowers, and then during the search of her room, her family had found a rose in the toilet, but later on in the report, it turns out that the rose is not related to the flowers I guess Armando sent her, and etc. So one other important thing to note, that like I said, this police department completely dropped the ball in this case, was that her family notified them that when they seen this man, Armando, when he showed up to the apartment at 4 in the morning when they had all got there, had visible injuries to his face and his hand. They said that his hand was swollen and he had like scratches on his face or something. And the deputy interacted with him. The original Deputy Paulino, this is when he was interacting with him. So, like I said, I just don't know where it ends. Like, it's so much stuff that they could have did different if they were truly doing their job. My personal opinion. Now, we are at the surveillance video footage and the key fob information from her apartment. So this is when they had got in contact with the leasing complex manager, Jessica. And Jessica told them that Miya was scheduled to work that day, and she had worked, and it showed her leaving at about like 1700, a few minutes after her shift ended. So he allowed the second deputy, Deputy Thomas, to review the surveillance video footage of her leaving the office to give them, I guess, you know, a time frame. This is when it said in the report that she was observed wearing black shoes, blue jeans, the maroon Priest Company t-shirt, her work t-shirt, and then she was on her phone holding the yellow rose walking out of the office, which, like I said, that is the rose that was found in the toilet, that was unrelated to the flowers Armando had bought her or sent to her. So while reviewing the footage, the apartment complex leasing manager, Jessica, had then explained to the deputy that they have a system with their key fobs, which I think most apartment complexes have, but it tracks what key fob is used, the time that it's used, what it was used to do. So, for example, a key fob that's used at 4 a.m. it can tell that if it was used from the outside to unlock it, or if it was used from like, or if the inside was already locked, or you know, that you get it. Okay, so you guys, this is where the main evidence comes in. Okay, listen and pay attention closely. So I'm gonna read this off of the report, and obviously you guys already know at this point, like, it's up. Okay, so according to Jessica, the on-call maintenance key fob was accessed. The on-call maintenance key fob accessed Mia's door on September 24th, 2021 at 16:34 hours, which is 4:34, 30 minutes prior to when she was supposed to be getting off work at 5. The on-call maintenance person for the day was, you guessed it, Armando Caballero. They checked the system, and she had no open work orders on the apartment. So boom, why is he going to her apartment? There's no work orders. And why is he going to her apartment 30 minutes before her shift ends? So according to the apartment leasing manager, according to Jessica, none of the maintenance personnel are allowed authorized access to apartment without a work order, which is typical for any apartment complex and any maintenance person with a master key to that apartment. Because why are you going to an apartment and there's no need for you to be there? So further review showed after Armando's maintenance key fob accessed the door at 16:34, or my bad y'all, 4:34 p.m. the deadbolt was locked at 4:35, which means went to the apartment, used the key fob, unlocked the door, went inside the apartment, shut the door, locked it physically from inside. Then at 5:02 p.m., the deadbolt was opened from inside, and then immediately locked again within that same minute at 5:02. So, meaning he's still in the apartment. For some reason, I think he was trying to create, they said, a trace record or something, which I don't know why, because, babe, you still got caught up. Like, so, yeah, that means at 5:02, he physically unlocked it, then locked it again right after. So 4 minutes later, at 5:06 p.m., Mia's key fob that she had accessed the door, and the deadbolt was open from outside, of course, because she scanned it and unlocked. So it says, however, the deadbolt was not locked from the inside until 5:12 p.m. The next and last known activation of a key fob prior to law enforcement's arrivals was at 7:16 by Mia's key fob from outside. The activation indicated her fob was used on the door, but the deadbolt was never unlocked and the door was never opened. This was unusual, as the door was not locked earlier from the last time it was locked from inside at 17:12 hours. Meaning, Mia's key fob should have still been inside the apartment when it activated at 7:16 p.m. and not on the outside of the front door. So, this is where he messed up at. So, at this point right now, if we put everything together, we know what happened, right? So, with what was on this police report, the evidence pictures of the door being barricaded, her actual bedroom door being barricaded by the bookcase, dresser, whatever. The window being the window screws being unlocked on the window from the inside. You obviously can conclude he was inside her apartment, waited for her to get off work. Of course, she went into her apartment, you know, getting ready to catch her flight to Fort Lauderdale, but was surprised by this man being in her apartment. Of course, nobody knows what actually happens, what he did. I'm concluding that he might have been in her closet waiting for her, under her bed or something. I don't know. But he either choked her out, punched her to knock her out, because mind you, there was a little bit of blood on the pillow or something. It's just so many like things that could have happened. But from evidence and what we know with this key fob, you know, he did what he did. He carried her out through the window, and then tried to create a track or whatever with her key fob, but probably forgot that the last time her key fob was used was when she went inside and the deadbolt was locked. So he must have locked the door after he knocked her out, choked her out, whatever, went to the front door, locked the door, and then when he carried her out to the car or whatever, went back to the front of the door to try to create a track record with hers. But maybe he wasn't thinking, because mind your adrenaline going, he just did something bad, so much is going on, and he used the key fob to make it as if she unlocked the door, but forgot that her key fob should have still been inside. Everybody can kind of piece together their own story of what happened, but we will never know what truly happened. But from evidence photos, you can kind of, common sense will put together like the possibility of what most likely happened. And it's so unfortunate. So after they had this evidence of the key lock system review, the video with the blanket and him taking the gloves and stuff out of the car, at this point the police feel like they had enough evidence to arrest him on having some type of involvement with this missing persons case. But before they got that approved by the judge, they decided to just get him on the burglary charges with the key log information they had, because he accessed her apartment after hours. There was no work order, so why are you there? Burglary. So at this point, they were getting that together to get approved by the judge so they can go and put a warrant out for his arrest and arrest him. But after this, they decided to finally cordon off her bedroom and have it like 24-hour surveillance of it, and collect evidence. They took all her electronics, her tablets, her all that, her watches, everything. So here I'm gonna try to run through a brief summary. Well, actually, I would like you guys to read that. I'll go through a brief summary of the interviews with her brother, the cousin, co-worker, all that, but you guys can read the police report online to read more into detail of what happened. So basically her brother just said, you know, he knew something was up whenever he wasn't getting a response back to her, but according to him, she was asking if they could just ride down there together, because he had been in Orlando, but he couldn't stay and wait for her to get off work, so you know, he just left, which is so unfortunate, because like, just to think, I'm sure he feels so much guilt, but just to think that if he would have been able to stay like she asked, most likely, you know, she would have still been here, because of course Armando probably wouldn't have expected her brother to be here. You know, it's always just like small stuff that's like, you know, if you wish you can go back, you would change it. But unfortunately, you know, things happen how they happened, and everything happens for a reason. So I will go over this interview that they had with this girl named Jasmine, which was a coworker of Miya, who also had a group chat with Miya and I guess another coworker. Jasmine, Miya, and Tati were all in a group chat, And then Miya would share screenshots of the messages between her and Armando. And Jasmine told the deputy that Armando would send Miya long emotional messages and got upset when she wouldn't respond. She said that Miya and Armando never dated or had been romantically involved, and felt it was weird that Armando would send her messages like that, you know, detailed, like full-on paragraphs. This girl's already expressed that she, you know, doesn't want a relationship with you, etc., etc. So then she talked about the flood that occurred in Mia's apartment over a period of days, which went through the living room area and then Mia's bedroom. According to Jasmine, the last message Miya sent to the group chat regarding Armando was after seeing him at our apartment on Tuesday, when he came to remove one of the maintenance items for her apartment used for it during when they were repairing and replacing stuff from the flood. So Miya had told the group chat that Armando told her he had cleared his mind enough to follow her back on Instagram. Jasmine explained Armando would get overly emotional and obsessive over her if she were posting and doing things on Instagram and not talking to him, which would make him upset. Miya then forwarded a text Armando had sent once he left her apartment, stating, listen to this, everything else burnt out, but respectively, I can't lie, I would have loved to taste you or see how it was at least once. Jasmine said Miya didn't know how to respond to the message, and this was the first time she was aware that Armando had sent Miya a text that was sexual. And then it says the last time she interacted with Miya was through a TikTok Miya had sent her at 9:50 a.m. on Friday morning, September 24th, 2021, which is the day she went missing. So then later on, the detective also did an interview with her cousin Callie, which is the one I was trying to think about her name earlier, but she was also in the episode on the case with Paula Zahn that they did for Mia's case. But Callie is her name. So again, back to the point where I said that she had seen Armando outside, Callie, the cousin, right here. So Callie also saw Armando's car pull toward the rear of the apartment with his lights off. Suspicious. She made eye contact with him and he quickly put his car in reverse. Callie believed he struck the vehicle mentioned previously with the Nebraska plate. He did a 3-point turn and got out of his car. Shortly after, Simone alerted Marlon that a maintenance man was outside. That's when he was questioned by the family and he appeared to be lying. So there was a part that I didn't go over earlier, but whenever the family was outside, in reference to that video they got of him taking the blanket inside, yada yada. When he left, they were still following him, and her brother and dad were following him, and eventually they got him to pull over. Whatever, they were trying to talk to him like, hey, where's Miya? Like, we done playing this game with you. Where's Miya at? Like, we know you know where she's at, so just tell us, where is she? But at that point, I'm guessing her other family members, Callie, the cousin, and her other aunt and grandma, were still outside the apartment complex. And that's when they said, after he took the stuff inside, the latex gloves and Mia's blanket inside, she saw someone else exit his apartment with a backpack. Another person showed up to his apartment in a blue vehicle, and then when Armando left, the person in the blue vehicle left as well. And then that's when the dad and brother followed him back to the apartment and let them come inside. So I'm thinking, because they ended up not finding the blanket or the gloves when they went back into the apartment, so what the cousin thinks is that, or what the brother thinks happened is that because they were like 15 minutes away from Armando's apartment when the brother and dad were following him, they believe, you know, he told someone else, his roommate, whoever else was inside the apartment, to get rid of the blanket and whatnot. And that's when you see the individuals leaving with the backpack and etc. That obviously is what happened, because where else would he have hidden that stuff? And they looked through the apartment. Okay, you guys, there's so much more to this report, but I don't want to make this video too long. So if you are interested, like I said, I'll link the link to the police report in the description box. You could download that to your phone and read it yourself, and see all the evidence photos. They do have an evidence photo of Armando after they found him, after they found out he unalived himself in the storage locker of the old apartment building he used to work for. of his hand, just to show like the blood clotting and stuff. But everything else is redacted. There are no actual graphic photos in the police report. Everything is redacted that is graphic, so we do not have access to that. But the police report is very, very detailed, and yeah, if you are very interested, or if you are interested at all about reading it, it will be in the description box, as well as links to the foundations you could donate to keep Mia's memory alive and to support her and her family. As of today, July 15th of 2022, they did get Mia's law approved for a more updated measures to protect tenants that live in apartments from people like the maintenance persons having access to their apartment anytime with this master key fob. So yeah, that's just for Florida laws as far as I know. I'm not sure exactly how it works, but I just know they did get it passed and signed, so that's good. But yeah, this is just a very unfortunate situation, and it just ended so tragically. Like, as you know, they did find Mia's body, you know, based on them tracking Armando's coordinates of where he went after the time of him leaving Mia's apartment. They tracked to wherever he went, and apparently he was at his old apartment complex that he used to live at, that was now abandoned, and that's where he dumped her body, was in the grass. But due to Florida being a hot, it's like wet air down there, it's hot, unfortunately Mia's body had decomposed very, very fast. She was out there for a week though, and due to the nature, it allowed her body to decompose at a very fast rate, so they were unable to determine how she actually passed away, because she was basically near skeletonization. But a few things that I do remember was that they found her, she had just a bra and then her robe on, then her jeans, and then she was found with her purse beside her, and apparently there's a bloody pillowcase that was stuffed in her purse that he put there. I don't know why, but yeah, but it's so sad. But rest in peace to such a beautiful girl, and from what we know and read, a beautiful soul. Just so sad that when you see stuff like this happen, like, these girls are so young. She was getting ready to turn 20 and she didn't even get to start her life just because, you know, she wasn't interested in someone, you know. They were interested with each other at first, and then she realized that this guy's kind of too pushy, doing too much, and it's just the beginning. Like, you know, I don't think I want this, you know. There was there was things that came out about Armando from years ago, about how he was violent in nature and very obsessive. I just think that's just, you know, a mental problem that he had himself. But, you know, you just gotta be careful for people like that, and just, you know, it's so sad because you're not expecting to go home and that'd be the last place that you know, that's the last place that you know, are alive at. It's just so sad. I don't know what else to say. It makes it even worse that no one knows exactly how she died. Like I said, my guess is that it's from like blunt force trauma or strangulation. You know, maybe he punched her to knock her out, which is where the blood came from, because when you look at the blood, it's a very small amount of blood that was there. So I'm thinking maybe he punched her to knock her out and choked her or something. I'm not sure. But she was so skeletonized that she had no soft tissue left, so they couldn't even determine if she was sexually assaulted or not, you know, if he assaulted her before he took her out the apartment or what. But since she was found with her jeans on, they're assuming that he didn't, but they couldn't even DNA test her because there was no like tissue left. So but it was said that she was found with her ankles and wrists bound and tape over her mouth, I believe. So I will link some news articles that describe a little bit about that. But everything is in the police report. This is a full, detailed, with every little thing that happened, police report. So if you have questions about anything, I'm telling you, read the police report and you will find out more than you probably wanted to know. But it just doesn't sit well because it's just so tragic. But you know, that's life. Good things happen to bad people all the time, unfortunately. But I pray and hope that she's at peace. I pray and hope that God brings her family peace. This will never be easy. It's just not something that you get over. You know, 5 years from now, it may still feel the same. This is something that time can't even heal because it's a loss of a life, you know, and in such a tragic way. So, but yeah, but that is all. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you want me to cover any other stories, just let me know and I will look into it. But I love you guys and have